And I think this cultural ingredients like transcends business. I think it goes into personal relationships. Whether you have a significant other or you have a best friend, like what makes it work? Well, first and foremost, you have to be in the right position. You have to have a certain level of understanding of what role you play in that person's life. You know, I have friends that there are roles I play in their life that have nothing to do with business, right? And then there are friends that I have that have nothing to do with, with personal. It's all business, you know. So like, it's like, what role do I play? You know, when somebody's in a relationship with somebody, it's important, I think, for somebody to like have a good understanding of what position they're going to play. For example, you and your wife, Kaylee, right? I assume somebody takes out the trash. Is that right?
Yep.
Is that your job or hers?
Usually mine. Yeah.
Okay. Somebody pays bills? Your job or hers?
It's mine. Yep.
Okay. So, who's watching the kids most of the time?
She is. Yeah.
Okay. So you have that understanding. Who cleans the house?
Mostly her.
Okay. How about dishes? Does somebody do the dishes?
Yeah, mostly her, I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah.
And see, here's the thing. Did you ever sit down and be like, hey, this is your position in our relationship, and this is my position in our relationship? Or is it just kind of understood?
I would say it's more understood. We've definitely talked about some of those things, but yeah.
Yeah. And you know what's funny is that position alignment is so important in every relationship, whether it's just understood or it's actually talked about. I think when a culture, either in a family culture or a personal culture or in a professional culture, really start to take the next step is when they sit down and actually have a clear understanding and agreement in each one of those positions. And the agreements are an important part. You know, I don't know how many relationships I've seen over the years where they're like, I don't really want to do this. I do it because I have to. Or I feel I have to. Right? I don't want to cut the grass, Dylan. And my dad cut the grass, so I kind of feel like I have to. Like, it's like my thing, I guess. Right? Yeah. But why? Why should it be my thing? Right? It's an assumed position. And so I stopped cutting the grass years ago. I fixed my house, cut the grass. As soon as I can afford to delegate it, I delegated it, right? Why? Because I don't want to.
Yeah.
And there are other areas of my personal life that I'm like, I don't want to do that. I like to wash the dishes. So I wash dishes. I like to do laundry. So I do my own laundry, right? I actually enjoy cooking. I have 2 Traeger grills. I do my own cooking most of the time. Today, I cook my own food, right? I made some almond flour shells with some goat cheese and, some Applegate bacon, right? And so I made this myself, put together a little sandwich, and that's what I added, Why? Because I actually want to, right? It's not a matter of I have to. It's a matter I want to. And so those are areas of culture that when you get there, whether it's personal or professional, that really get healthy is when you desire it, right? You do it because you want to. Second thing, you align with the values and vision. All relationships end because there's a value or vision misalignment. Somebody either breaks the values habitually over and over again, and it's a pattern, they're not willing to change, and they're like, I'm done. Somebody's like, I'm done. Or you're constantly playing tug of war. And although tug of war was a fun game when we were kids, it's a terrible culture. It's a terrible culture. Tug of war is never a fun place to be in a business. When somebody has a vision plan to go one way, somebody else has a vision plan to go the other way, and then they pull on each other. And third is goals, If we both want to play the game and we both want to go somewhere, but I'm like, hey, I want to get there like in 90 days, and you're like, oh, I'm not okay with that. Like, I want to get there in 9 years. We could both be on the same path. But we're not going to have a healthy culture if I'm trying to get there in 90 days and you're trying to get there in 9 years. And then last is that purpose again, right? If we don't have the purpose alignment, if we don't have at least, and your purpose doesn't have to be my purpose, right? I want to rise by lifting other people, a company's purpose, to do a good work that supports God's work. We don't have to have that same purpose. The key, however, is you, not me, you seeing that the company's purpose is going to help you achieve your purpose. And if that happens, then there's a tethering that happens. In a relationship, two people don't have to, and I would highly recommend they don't share the same purpose, right? I think individually they should be going after their own personal purpose in life, whatever that is. If you want to be, if your spouse wants to be a great mom, then you should support her in being a great mom. If you want to be a great dad, she support you in being a great dad, or vice versa. Like whatever that purpose is in life, that is important to make sure that you're in support of each other, and great people around you will support that. I always say proper relationships support other proper relationships. And that's not just like personal relationships. That's relationships with goals, relationships with jobs, relationships with your purpose in life. But if it's proper, right? If you have a proper relationship with somebody, then they should be supportive of your goals, of your purpose, and where you want to be in life. And that's what creates great culture. And I think that's why Disney's so great at it, because they go through an immense amount of training, right, when they onboard their people. Why? To make sure that they are great at the position and that they desire the position. They go through an immense amount of training. Why? Not to indoctrinate people or make them like conform to the values and vision of Disney. It's because they want them to leave, right? They want them to not be there if they don't align with the values and vision. I always tell people all the time, core values either cause people to attract or repulse themselves, right? It's important to have values. Why? Because I want someone to attract. But more importantly, I want them to repulse. If they don't align with our values and vision, I want them repulsed by it. I want them to go, okay, I'm done. And that's okay. I want them to deselect. Everybody goes, well, how do you incorporate Christianity into your company culture? I just make sure I share it 1,000 times. Well, you can't really fire someone, right? Nope, I can't. I don't really want to either, to be honest with you. At the end of the day, I'm just going to be so open and transparent about it that somebody goes, not me, I ain't going to work there.
Yeah.
I had an employee years ago, or potential employee, come in for an interview. Great interview, by the way. I was checking to see if they were a culture fit, right? So we started with position. First interview, 100% position. All right, do you have what I need? Do you have the heart, the head, the hands, the feet, right? I always say the heart, head, hands, feet tell me you're in the right seat, which is the position of the organization. And they did, and they were locked in, right? Desired the position, had the behavioral traits for the position, skills were on point, probably more than even what I was looking for, and their mobility, their ability to grow with the organization or grow the organization was in line. Like I was very impressed by the competency of the person and where they wanted to take it to. Super excited. So here you go. They're coming back for the second interview, right? We sit down in the second interview. We're walking through core values. I'm talking about, and I'm asking them questions, trying to figure out what their values and vision are. And it felt good. Everything seemed good. I'm talking about core values of hard work. I talked about how hard they worked. And I got into I talked about, giving and generosity and integrity and do what you say you're going to do and belief and having strong belief ethics and works and things like that. And I did it in an interview way just to see if I recognized it in them. And I did. It showed up. I was pretty excited about it. So third interview happens, right? And now I'm like, I need to make sure this is the last gate to entry. They come in for the interview. I sat down, and it's now me trying to see whether or not they want us. Because the first two interviews all about, do I want you? Third interview is, do you want me? Right? And so this is where I'm really going to open the doors to who we are. And I opened those doors, and I gave them our core values list. And I gave them our purpose statement, and I gave them like the job offer and the pay and all the things that go along with the emotional paychecks, the location, the hours, and work-life balance, all those things. Why? I want you. I want you. I want you. I want you. Do you want me? Do you want me? Do you want me? And you know what they said? I don't want you. She looked right at me. She's like, I ain't coming to work here. I'm like, why? She says, this has got to be a Christian organization. Yeah, it is. She's like, yeah, I was reading here, and whatever the hand findeth to do, do with all they might. Hard work. Why? Because I put our Bible verses into our core values, and I had purpose to do a good work that supports God's work. We believe that Christian culture. We believe that mindset, and you know what she did? She's like, I'm repulsed by this. I don't want to have anything to do with this. And I was like, okay, well, I appreciate you being honest with me. She's like, yeah. And you know what she did? She deselected herself.
Mm.
I had an offer. I had a job offer. I slid it across the table for her. But of course, that job offer was contingent on her aligning with our values.
Yeah.
Her aligning with her purpose. And you go, well, what if she's not a Christian? It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want her repulsed by it. Right? I don't want her to the point where she's like, I don't want to be a part of a culture like this. If she's like, I'm not a Christian, but hey, I align with this. I'm okay with it. Like, I don't have an issue. There's no judgment here. Mm-hmm. Then, hey, come on in. Be a part of this. But the moment she was like, whoa, I don't want to have anything to do with this. I'm repulsed by it. Why appreciate you deselecting yourself today?
Yeah.
Right? And that is what we want to have. We want to have those boundaries. But we have to have these things in place that allows our culture to take form. And then allows us to attract the right people. And then the right people come in, they're excited about their job, and you know what they do? We put them in the right position. You know what they do? We put them in the right with our right values, aligning with people and core values and vision. What do? We align them with our goals. We make sure their goals are being achieved. And what else do? We help them achieve